Hello everybody out there, it is I, BigAl2k6 once again. Today we are going to do something a little bit different. Now, as all of you are aware, I am a huge fan of the Japanese animation One Piece. I think it's pretty fucking obvious. I have a Luffy doll right there. I have a One Piece necklace in there. I cosplay as Usopp. I made the slingshot for Usopp. I just got done making his 5-ton hammer for my costume. Oh, and while on the subject, by the way, Vicky, if you're watching this, your staff for your Son Goku Sayuki cosplay is complete. So, not to mention, my iPod is full of songs from One Piece, and I mean, I did back in the past, I did a whole umpteenth part series defending the Japanese version over the 4Kids version. But we're going to do something a little bit different today. This video isn't about my love for One Piece. Oh no. This video is about stuff I hate about One Piece. Big shocker, I know. So, let the fun begin. My first major complaint, and this is actually more of a personal thing. Sorry, my eye itches. I have pink eye. Now, One Piece is a show that has a lot of dramatic moments. It's something bad, traumatic happened, or somebody's sad for some reason. And there are times when pretty much everybody in the whole fucking neighborhood is crying on that show. This is no offense intended to Ichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, but I have noticed that every time there is a dramatic scene, it's ruined by someone whose mouth is so low down to the ground that you can see what they ate for lunch that afternoon. I don't know, that just bothers the shit out of me. I guess it's his art style, but when you're trying to make a dramatic scene, it's really... When you're trying to make something dramatic, it's really not a good idea to make characters look that comical, you know what I mean? Either their mouths are so low to the ground when they're crying, or there's just boogers and snot and all kinds of other shit coming out of their face when they're crying. It looks retarded. There you go. It looks retarded. I'm sorry, but the best example I can give is, again, Belmir's death. I believe it's one of the most dramatic moments and traumatic moments of One Piece, so I often use that as a good example. When she is about to die by Arlong, by getting shot in the face, I'm sorry, the heart. It's the head in the manga, the heart in the anime. When she is about to get shot, Nami and Nojiko, their faces, like, they're crying down here, and there's snot coming everywhere, and it just doesn't look great. Now, granted, at that time they're just little kids, so I guess I can let that one slide. But even when something current is happening, not just in flashbacks, but even when something is happening right now in that series, the characters, there's just snot and everything coming out. Like, during, I think it was Impel Down. I can't remember the name of the arc, but it was either Impel Down or C9. I can't remember, but Luffy is screaming to Nico Robin, "Tell me you want to live. Tell me you want to live." And Nico Robin goes, "I want to live!" And there's tears and snot and everything coming down. It just doesn't look good. But I think a better example of this little pet peeve of mine with dramatic scenes getting ruined by the characters' facial expressions, I think really there's no better example besides the Belmir thing than one of the recent volumes of the manga where Ace, Luffy's brother, or supposed brother, he dies. Yes, somebody actually dies in One Piece. He gets shot in the stomach. Basically his insides are being eaten by magma, and he just slowly dies. And Ace's final words or something along the lines of, "My only regret, Luffy, is I won't live to see your dream fulfilled." And then he collapses over and dies. And the next panel just kind of pissed me off because this is like one of the saddest moments in manga history, and the only thing that Luffy can do is, that's what it looks like. I'm sorry. Here, I'll even show you a picture of it. Does it or does it not look like he's choking on a chicken bone right now? It just, again, no disrespect intended to Oda, but it just doesn't look right when there's a dramatic scene and the characters during that scene look like they're choking on a chicken bone, or their mouths are down to here, or they're crying so much that there's all kinds of shit coming out of their mouth and face. And it just doesn't look right. And speaking of crying, does everybody have to cry? This is another thing that I noticed. Everybody cries for some reason on that show. One Piece. Everybody's a fucking crybaby. Yes, I'm drinking two things at the same time. Thank you for noticing. But another thing that I have noticed with One Piece, it's a common reoccurring theme. You'll have the good guy facing off against the bad guy, or a few bad guys. The good guy gets his ass kicked. Then the good guy comes back and says this tear-jerking, thought-provoking speech about friendship or following your dreams or some shit. And then he somehow gets enough strength to beat the bad guy's ass in the end. One Piece isn't the only one that does this. It's just something that I noticed the most with One Piece. I think even Ultimate Muscle and Kinnikuman and all those other shows have done it. I mean, after all, they are mostly all Shonen Jump. But it does get old. It does get old sometimes. And I think the best example of this is when Usopp and Chopper are fighting Miss Merry Christmas and Mr. Four. And she was called Miss Groundhog's Day in the dub, even though she was a fucking mole, and it doesn't make any sense, but that's besides the point. So, long story short, Usopp gets his ass kicked. I mean, he gets his face pretty much caved in by the 4-ton bat. He gets his nose broken, which, by the way, if your nose is about as big as a standard ruler, it's gonna get broken a lot. But he gets his nose broken, he gets his face caved in, he gets hurled into the sky, and he falls flat on his face. Then Chopper's about to get his ass kicked, but Usopp somehow manages to get enough strength to stand up. I mean, just him standing up from that type of blow just shows you, that all these characters can somehow pull amazing strength out of their ass. But then again, Usopp, from what I understand, has a very, very, very high tolerance to pain, so you could probably rip his legs off and he probably wouldn't even notice, but he gets enough strength to get up, and he talks about how everybody's got a dream, and you guys are assholes for making fun of Luffy's dream. So anyway, they tried a home run thing again, but then Usopp, how did it go? Like, Usopp, he dodges it, and he and Chopper team up to do the whole Usopp slingshot hammer thing. I can't remember the name of it. So, even though Usopp and Chopper got their asses kicked 6 ways from Sunday, they managed to pull through and win the fight. Now, this is sometimes called the Hulk Hogan effect, but and it happens quite a lot in animes, not just One Piece, but it does get a little annoying after a while. And finally, this has to do with the main character, Monkey D. Luffy. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Luffy. I think he's a great character. I think he's funny as hell, and I think his attacks kick ass. I mean, who wouldn't want rubber, stretchy limbs? But for more reasons than fighting, of course. But but this is something that I noticed with Luffy. Now, Luffy is often portrayed as, well, to put it bluntly, fucking retarded. But but there are some times when, for some reason, he'll wise up and have this seemingly pre-rehearsed speech about friendship and following your dreams when he's getting his ass kicked by the bad guy. It just doesn't really mix well. I mean, now granted, he is supposed to be inspired by Goku from Dragon Ball, but not even Goku is this retarded. I mean, Goku's retarded, but he's not pants-on-head retarded. You see what I'm saying? And it's weird because he'll often talk about how important friendship is to him, yet oftentimes he'll do things that almost kill his entire crew. Like, for example, this is during one of the the movies. It was like Django's Dance Hour or something, but they were basically on Dance Dance Revolution Island and had a giant disco ball. Now, there were Marines. They were chasing after Django, but they didn't know that the Straw Hats were there too. And there's this Marine, he's looking at the wanted poster. Luffy's just standing there like a fucking idiot. One of the Marines, he's looking at the wanted poster, he looks at Luffy, looks at that wanted poster. Luffy's just standing there while the rest of his crew hightailed it out of there before they got caught. And then Luffy's just standing there like an idiot. And the Marines are like, hey, it's the Straw Hats, get them! And even still, Luffy's like... But then, you know, finally he snaps out of it and runs away. I have the feeling that if you gave Luby... if you... Luby... Coming soon, One Piece, the porno, featuring Monkey D. Lube. But... I have a feeling that if you gave Luffy a paper bag, he'd be entertained for hours. But, it's just something I noticed. Like, when he's getting his ass kicked, he becomes smart. I don't know how the hell that works. I mean, he has these plans, and, like, when he's in a fight, he, like, comes up with all these outlandish ways to beat his opponents, and he'll have a monologue about how important friendship is, and then it's as if when he's getting his ass kicked, suddenly he gets smart. But when he's just doing normal things like eating or tending to the ship, he becomes pants-on-head retarded. Now, like I said, there are a lot of characters in anime, especially in Shonen Jump anime, that at first they're retarded, but in an actual fight they get serious. You know, Kid Muscle, Kinnikuman, Goku, just to name a few. But for some reason, Luffy is the exception to that rule. Now, Kid Muscle and Goku and them, they may be retarded at times, but they never, as far as I can tell, they never did something that would jeopardize their entire group of friends, you know, ultimately killing them. Luffy, for some reason, he's just retarded. And that's just one of my biggest problems with One Piece, the main character, Luffy, because it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't balance right for someone who is that retarded, but then all of a sudden gets that smart and that devoted to their friendship, even though that one character constantly jeopardizes the lives of their friends by doing incredibly stupid-ass, retarded shit. Now, those are just some of the things that I despise about One Piece. That being said, I still consider it to be a very entertaining show, and it is still one of my favorite shows to watch. It has plenty of funny moments. Despite all the stuff that I said about One Piece right now, it does have funny moments. It has dramatic moments that are awkward, or the snot bubbles and everything. And I think it is a very cool, diverse collection of characters. And I would still recommend it to people who like action and adventure. And it's basically the modern-day Dragon Ball. Because, you know, it's full of action and adventure and drama, but it's still a very fun show to watch. This has been BigAl2k6. I hope you enjoyed this little show I had. Take it easy. Big Al. Over and out.